Welcome back everyone, my name is Triforce Addiction. So today I decided to do something a little bit different since Season 3 is almost near the end. We have a few more days before this season comes to an end and Season 4 makes its way alongside all of its balance changes. So the legendary skins have all been released by this point, so I decided to rank all of these different legendary skins from worst to best. For the record, I am aware that there were 6 different draws in this season, but I am going to exclude one since it has already been released, which is the DRH Wicked Claw. So I'm going to be ranking the ones that are brand new for this season. So before we get into this, I want to let you know that 72.6% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. Please do so because it does help the channel a lot. So anyways, let's begin. So right off the bat, we are going to be starting with the worst legendary for Season 3, which is by far the Arctic 50 Foxfire. So this was one of those legendary skins that was very misleading. If you did see a promo picture of it, you would see that, you know, the character is holding it, it's a lot more glowy, it has a lot better effects, but when you actually use it in game, it's not really the same thing. In fact, there's not really a lot of animations going on other than just the fire that surrounds the weapon. I mean, yes, this is a reactive camo which turns more blue as it goes along until like it turns yellow at the very end. But really, there's nothing too appealing about this, and it kind of sucks that this draw ended with 4,700 COD points. And I understand it's reactive, but still, I felt like it wasn't enough to warrant that type of price. The only real upside to this legendary was that it had an amazing death effect. So basically, whenever you shoot someone, they basically turn into like this spiritual fox that turns blue at the very end. And it's really nice. It's probably the best one out of all the legendaries. So while this gun may have a very good kill effect, it does not have a very good animation that just surrounds the entire weapon. But I do have to say it does have a different shooting noise. It's easily noticeable. It's very loud as well. But even then, like, just looking at it cosmetically, it's not the best that I've ever seen. But don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that it came out for this sniper because, I mean, it's been a while since a sniper has actually gotten a legendary. The last one, I believe, was probably the NA45. So overall, it's an alright legendary, but it could be enhanced a little bit just to make it more better when it comes to the reactive effects. So now let's move on to the next weapon. So the next legendary that we are going to be discussing is the Metal Phantom for the Renetti. So this was released alongside the legendary Mace skin, although the legendary Mace skin was not really that great looking. I mean, it did look pretty cool and badass, but the problem is that he just doesn't shut up enough for you to actually hear what's going on. So when it comes to the actual weapon itself, the Renetti is definitely a unique weapon. Everyone thought that the burst was going to be really overpowered, which that really wasn't the case since you can't really burst like insanely fast. You could only do it a little bit slower than you would think. But the weapon overall is pretty nice. The legendary skin, however, is what really just makes this weapon a lot better. So don't get me wrong, I love the skin, I love the flashing eyes that are like basically in front of you. It basically kind of matches the theme that goes along with the legendary mace. And like I said, it looks really nice, but the unfortunate part is the iron sight. So the iron sight can be a little bit weird because mainly it kind of has like a built-in red dot sight, so you don't really need some sort of like red dot or holographic or even an ACOG sight to use this weapon. Unfortunately, the red dot is just so small you could barely even see it. I just kind of wish the red dot was a little bit bigger so I could see it a lot more efficiently. I usually just rely on the red spike that's actually in front of it whenever I use this skin. The reload animation is pretty cool. The sides of the weapon kind of opens up for you to put the mag back in, and it does look pretty nice. When it comes to the death effect, that's probably one of the best parts of this weapon. They kind of like turn into this circular code thing that matches the theme of course, Mace, the legendary skin. And yeah, that's pretty much all I could really say about the skin. Like really the only, I guess, animated parts is just the death effect and just the eyes that are glowing in front of you. And one major downside, besides all that stuff that I just mentioned, is the fact that this, since it's not even a reactive skin, this ended up becoming much more expensive than I initially thought. You know, usually when you have a reactive skin or a basic skin, it could range from 3,900 to 4,700. This one went all the way up to 5,500. I actually managed to get the skin earlier than the weapon, which I think it should have been the other way around, since the skin is pretty much the highlight of that draw. So unfortunately, this thing was a lot more expensive than I actually thought. I thought it was going to be a lot more cheaper, but unfortunately not. So like I said, this weapon's alright when it comes to its skin. Really the only animated part is the eyes and the death effect, like I said. But the problem is that it shouldn't have been as expensive as it was when I actually initially thought it was going to be a lot cheaper. I think that's one of the biggest problems when it came to this skin. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the number 3 spot is going to go to the AK47 Koromaku. So this was literally the first legendary skin that was released for Season 3. I think it released a lot earlier. I think it was supposed to be released on Thursday, but they ended up releasing it on a Tuesday or a Monday, which was actually kind of surprising to me. I didn't really expect it to be released at that time. But yeah, I didn't really expect as well for this weapon to be on the AK-47. I actually thought this was going to be on the AK-117, but apparently not. Like, what can I really say about this skin? I mean, it's really, really nice, don't get me wrong. There's no real negative like things to say about the like reactive effects. The animation within this camo is pretty similar to the epic variants, which was, I think, the Porcelain Yakuza with the HBR and the Deagle. It's very, very similar, but it has more added effects to it. You know, it does have those little cherry blossoms rotating around the weapon, as well as that little hot spot that's on the back of the gun. Also, another thing worth noting is that this weapon does have its own unique shooting sound and reloading sound, which are easily recognizable. You know, you could tell immediately when someone's using the Koromaku because of how, like, I guess distinct the shooting sound is. One of the best selling points for this skin is the death effect. So whenever you kill someone, they turn into like this little, I guess this moss stone that has like these little glowing inscriptions on it, and it does look really nice, but it only appears for like maybe a few like milliseconds. It's nothing really crazy, but I do have to say it's probably the second best death effect from all the legendaries for this season. So the main reason why I put this in number 3 is because that this is technically a re-release skin. So if you played Black Ops 4, you would know that the KN57 had a mastercraft called the Koromaku, which is literally the same gun that you're seeing right here on screen. So there's not really a lot of creative aspects that they did. They just pretty much lowered the quality. Well, which makes sense because, you know, this, like, you know, the tablets are a much weaker type of system compared to like an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. But like I said, there's not a lot of creativity since they pretty much copied and pasted the entire weapon skin onto this game. Of course, the biggest downside to this is that if you have played Black Ops 4 and you did unlock the Koromaku skin for the KN57, you pretty much have to pay like 5 times the normal price to get the same skin on a mobile game. So that's what makes this a lot worse. But yeah, overall the effects are really nice. I really do like the death effects, the animations and reactive effects as well. But like I said, all that stuff kind of brings it down to this position. So the number 2 spot is going to go to the PP19 Bison Invocation. No, it's not because it's overpowered or anything like that. It's just because of how good this skin actually looks. So it does have this kind of ancient feel to it. But what sets this weapon apart from the others is the fact that this is not even a reactive skin, and it looks better than most of the skins within this season. So what makes this gun amazing is definitely the animated effects that happen with this gun. So of course this one ended with 3,900 COD points, so it was much cheaper than a reactive camo. Well, not really much cheaper, but it was slightly cheaper. Anyways, like, the animated effects are absolutely amazing. Whenever you kill someone, the flames in the barrel do flare up. It kind of like has a similar effect like to the AGR 556 Durandal, where whenever you killed someone, the lights in the back would actually flare up a little bit. It's kind of like one of those skins. And just the, I guess the hieroglyphs that are kind of like just rolling around on the back of the gun just look amazing as well. Not to mention the death effect. I think the death effect is probably like one of the best I think I've seen out of all the legendaries that I have so far for this game. I can't say it's really the best skin in this season, but it's one of the best non-reactive legendaries that I've seen in a very, very long time. So now let's move on to the number 1 spot. So the number 1 spot was pretty much an obvious choice because I just made a video about it recently, saying how amazing this skin actually is. And it is the ICR Innovator. Originally from COD Mobile Chinese, I initially thought this was going to be an exclusive skin for that version. But I guess apparently not. It's now released in Global and I think also in Garena. So what sets this skin apart from literally all of the other skins from this season is the fact that the reactive effects and just overall this weapon just looks amazing. There's just so much going on with it. You know, there's a tube there with lava just flowing around. There's spikes that change color every single few kills. It's just amazing. I think there's a camera in the front of the like in the back of the iron sights. The iron sights themselves look just absolutely amazing, very holographic, very technological, and it also has a kill counter to top it all off. So the reason why this specific skin is number 1 is because not only that it's a reactive skin that has like really fantastic colors, it has pretty much every single type of like effect that a legendary would have. So it has a kill counter, it has a unique iron sight, it has very beautiful effects when it comes to just killing people. You do see that little thing that's orbiting around the weapon. It's pretty much like all the legendary skins just mashed up into one legendary. It's amazing. There's literally so much going on with this skin and I love it. So yeah, like I said, this is pretty much the perfect legendary skin I could ever think of. This is what should have been for the ICR way earlier instead of the forced laughter. That should have been like the second skin. But yeah, anyways, that's going to conclude the video for today. I hope you guys like it. Make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content. And also leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with my review. Also, you can list your top 5, your personal top 5 if you want, because I'm actually interested to see what you guys would actually say. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.